What did you want me to write?
Just like we're talking Falcon and Winter Soldier and other stuff today.
Talking about Falcon and the Winter. Isn't it better when I say it out loud? Soldier.
Yes, so good. Yeah. What you may not know is Nicholas and I have been working in Zoom format for 5 years together. And every time he types things, he tends to do the auditory processing of it out loud. Externally, here I'm typing words. It's pretty fun.
Oh, you ever have a spelling of a word just like poop right out of your brain? You're like, sold ear? Soldier? Is that soldier?
Is
that
it
can't
like
be right. That's right. I thought it was like somebody who solders things.
Yeah.
I
think so many things poop away from my brain.
My age, not my birthday, my age. Often I'm like, I really genuinely don't know.
That's fair.
Okay, is that better?
It didn't show up.
It's there for me. Oh, I think I might have shifted it on Nicholas Rave's page and not the Enlightened Couch Potato page.
Yeah, well, here I go. I've shared it in MySpace. Oh, by the way, there's some coder. Is that the name for people who do that? Yeah, somebody was the software designer. We made a MySpace thing, and I signed up for one of the. I forget what it was called. They made a new version of MySpace. It's called some other thing like My Place or some such. I have a page. I don't know. It just felt nostalgic and ridiculous.
Is it like same design, same layout, and all that?
Oh yeah. And you can like customize your URL to make your room look a certain way. Ridiculous.
That's a really interesting thing, that there was this huge cultural phenomena that was massive, and then it just died and it's gone now, a relic of the past. I mean, I know that happens with things, I wonder what things now we take for granted that in a few years are going to be the ones that didn't make it. And like, I hope it's Facebook. Ooh, did I say that out loud?
Oh no. Well, maybe. Yeah. Well, part of some of the things I want to update, and we could do a thing where we like, I don't know, we'll put the intro tag wherever. Someone's going to edit these. It's probably me.
Yeah, probably somebody.
Or we're going to get an intern.
Yeah, I might pay my kid to do it.
Cool.
Yeah, I want to teach him how to do video editing, and then be like, okay, you want to make some money? Here you go.
It'd be like raking the lawn, but you don't have a lawn.
We really don't. Yeah. And so many of the chores that I did, I mean, I grew up on a farm. Like this is a genuine thing for me that I think about, like how many chores I had as a kid. And like, there's just not that much stuff to do around here. And I really am thinking about ways to like get him involved in projects that he feels productive and he feels like he's contributing and he's doing something. Because I was working on the farm when I was like 8. I think I started getting paid. I think it was like, I think I got 1 penny for every tag that I put on a tree. So like 100 trees was $1. So that was a lot of work, but I was making money. And I felt like it was valuable. I was like, those trees are going on the truck and going out into the world. I'm actually doing something that someone else would have to do. And there's not as much opportunity for that, especially I guess with COVID and all that.
True. Well, and I was supervising a theater space 13 years. So I saw a couple different generations of humans go in there. And I remember I was doing chores at 8 as well. I had things that I had to dust and clean. Like somebody posted, like, what should I get my 13-year-old to do as chores? And I'm like, at 8, I was cleaning the bathroom, sinks, mopping, sweeping, dusting, anything you could clean, anything with like a blade. Like I wasn't mowing the lawn yet. Mm-hmm. But at 8, I was doing those tasks. And as a person who was supervising people who were newly in college or just had graduated, sort of this like 16 to 25-year-old age range, and sometimes 28, there are humans who have no idea how to sweep or mop, and we're teaching them things. And the worst of it for me was how to teach people to anticipate being useful, like to take on and visualize the whole scope of what anybody needed to do for a project to get done, and anticipate needs and just show up and take care of it without being asked.
How do you think we learn that skill? Like, how do you think people learn that skill?
Well, for me, with the sake of chores specifically, is when you're used to wiping up dust on the regular, you can tell when something is dirty or dusty. You can see the scope of that, or in relation to, oh, I do this chore this often. And you just sort of see the different levels of flow and upkeep in a house, especially when there are other people doing the things too.
Yeah.
And so recognizing, oh, I can see that this sink is dirty and is going to need to be cleaned, next. I think that's part of it. For me also, sports was part of my recognizing, anticipating needs. So I was a point guard at basketball.
That makes a lot of sense.
And soccer, figuring out where you have to put the ball because they're going to be there in a minute.
Right.
Not where they were or currently are. You have to actually lead and that kind of thing. So
you may have just given me one of the most compelling reasons for team sports for kids doing team sports that I've ever heard. It's just like going like, oh, we all have a shared objective here. And like, it's not about any one of us. So I actually have to learn how to think about other people. That's really interesting.
And the deeper thing for me on my team, what I noticed, which was really challenging. So my basketball team specifically, I was one of the only people on the team. And I know it was my job in the sort of the title of the role of point guard. But one of the things I did really, really well that's worked out in my career with hypnosis, NLP, and teaching communication, all this other stuff, is I didn't throw the ball the way I wanted to throw the ball. I threw the ball to people the way that they could catch it, and the way that was useful for whatever other things were going on at the time.
Yeah.
And I may have told this story before. We had this practice where we were trying to run a screen break. So full court press from another team. And we're trying to break through it. And
this is the game with the orange ball.
Games with the orange ball, five people per team.
Oh, good.
The idea is it's a really aggressive defense. It's a really aggressive defense that they put on. And we're trying to get the ball over to one side of the thing. And all of my teammates, this is the first time where I'm not the one leading it. I'm the one that's in the second place to receive something, or the third place to receive something. And forwards and centers and these people who aren't usually looking up the court as often have to throw me the ball. Now, I have a lifelong shoulder injury with my left arm. It doesn't go above my head very good. It did slightly better back then because I was using it more. But so ball after ball after ball after ball, all of my teammates kept throwing the ball over my left shoulder, high and over the left, eight times. And I'm like leaping up with my right hand and grabbing it with one arm and pulling it down. I'm like doing circus tricks to get the ball. But at no point is my left arm really able to like get there. And I'm working my ass off and doing it. And my coach just slams down her clipboard and she starts like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? How long have you been playing sports with Adrianne? And you know she can't get her fucking arm up there. She didn't say fuck. I'm saying it now because it's more fun. Stop
what she was thinking.
It up there. That's ridiculous. Throw it over here. There's so many different places that you throw it where she can catch it. She was like, and I was just like, and I was a little embarrassed because I get, my like, oh no, I'm broken and injured and wrong. Self felt like embarrassed because I'm in high school. But then I was like, yeah, I have spent all of these years throwing them the ball in a way that they could catch it.
Right.
It's like, what? Yeah. It seems so simple when somebody's pointing out. It's like, oh yeah. But that idea of look at the way somebody could receive something rather than how you want to give it to them. Whew.
Yeah, we were talking about sports and we got there from chores.
Or anticipating needs.
Your story made me think of a movie related story. You want to hear it?
Yes.
As a transition.
What should we talk about? Movies?
I guess we could.
What?
But this is a like clean segue from yours because it's a story about the psychology of a leader to be able to like look at a situation and figure out this. Did I tell you the Jack Black story about from High Fidelity?
I know this is
okay. You've seen High Fidelity, right?
Oh yeah, it's been a minute.
Jack Black this hilarious music snob, right? Where one of the plot lines is he's constantly trying to get people to come and check out his band or check out his singing or something. Yeah. And his buddy, the joke is that you're assuming he's terrible. Mm-hmm. And then the twist is that at the very end, he gets up and sings. I can't even remember what the event was that he was singing at, but he gets up and he sings Let's Get It On.
Right.
And the idea is he's supposed to nail it. And Jack Black is a pretty damn good singer, so he can pull it off. So he tells a story. This is his first big movie.
Okay.
And he says he gets up there, and first of all, a lot of the people didn't even know that he could sing. There's a huge crew and extras for this party scene. And he gets up there, and he's like, the first take that we did, he's like, if I'm being honest, it was pretty garbage. I was really nervous, and I wasn't really going for it, and I wasn't like letting it out. And so I got done, and I was feeling like pretty awful, and all this pressure and all the money that's in this scene. And he said the director stood up furious and starts screaming at everyone else but him. And he starts yelling, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Can't you are supposed to be supporting him, and like you guys were sitting back there not even paying attention. I want everybody up here. Jack, you were fine, you did awesome, that was great, just next time we're gonna do it again, totally not your fault, you fucking people. And he starts, and Jack said it was the weirdest feeling, that it was like he knew the way to take the pressure off of him was to do this thing where he's like, I knew what he was doing. Right. I knew that I sucked. I knew that I fucked it up, but he was going to be like, the last thing I should do right now is make him feel bad about that. And it's almost like everyone there, because they all knew he had done really badly too. I imagine that everybody there was like, yeah, just yell at me. It's fine. I know what we're doing. Like everybody would get it, the psychology of it. And then the second performance is the one in the movie. The second one that he did.
Phenomenal about that. And I don't know if I've talked about this. Well, it's part of it's one of our premise for our show is that the responsibility for value you and I get, like in the sense of rapport, like you as a listener have a lot of control over how well the person who's speaking can speak.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. I think that somebody should show up at the top. Part of the MC's job is to show up at the top of the show and
yell at the audience
out of the audience in such a way that they become the most loving. Yeah. It's like, you want a good show, right? Well, guess what? It is your job to be the most attentive, loving, kick-ass audience in the world, because that's going to guarantee that your performer is going to do a better job.
Yeah. Yeah. On the other hand, there's this balance between the honesty of an audience too. Is like one of the things stand-up comedians talk about is they won't laugh if it's not funny, and that is your measuring device. So there's also there. I mean, I'm with you. Like if you come in there and you're doing this, or if we're trying to have a conversation and I'm like, it's going to get real boring, and you will start to get, unless you're a sociopath, where you're not interested or paying attention at all. If you're at all attentive to the other person, you're going to notice they're more or less engaged. So I wonder there then if it's about engagement and not positivity necessarily.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm supposed to be engaged, and that means if I don't like something, I need to really not like it.
Well, there's a level of attention.
Attention
and intention.
Yeah.
There's, well, so hey, welcome to the Enlightened Couch Potato Show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We've got stuff to catch up on. It's been a couple weeks.
It has.
Yeah. Update for you. Still been talking to the person who's writing our theme song, sharing the importance of we want an Ethel Merman flourish of couch potato show, like something.
Yeah.
I did let her know that you also can sing, so it may be that we do.
Oh no, you didn't. All right, hold on. I can't hear you. My headphones died.
I did. I did indeed.
Yeah. What did you tell her?
Right. I told her that you two are able to sing. The only thing that you've explained to me is that you you have a Josh Groban sort of voice.
True.
That is what you said.
True.
And then I said that you also have a background in musical theater, and I know that you can do voices and things. So any range of hilariousness or ridiculousness that may or may not need to be accessed, we can do it.
Yeah.
I also, for some reason in the conversation, got a flash of super fragilistic, whatever the hell the goddamn super califragilistic, where there's like the cartoons and everybody's like, there's these like lines that are longer than they need to be. The Mary Poppins stuff popped into my head, and I was like, we could both be Dick Van Dyke. I don't know if either of us could be Mary Poppins or any of those cartoons, but if we needed to be for the sake of our show. Yeah, so those are the frames.
You do the worst Cockney accent in movie history, and you're Dick Van Dyke.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary.
Hello, Mary.
Oh my God. So that is still underway. So at some point we will have, I also said we want really catchy percussive and a horn section. So this is, I don't know what'll happen next, but it's underway.
I'm excited.
Yeah. I don't know. Is it like, I haven't heard you sing. I've heard you do the spoken version of your opera voice.
I don't recall doing
that. You
that.
don't recall this?
No, what is that?
The
like just filling the room.
You're filling the good morning, Nicholas, or something like that.
Yeah.
But I have not heard any other descriptors of your singing.
Well, I did make sort of subtle commitment to record a song and send it to somebody recently. So I don't know, maybe I'll include you on it. But my range is quite a lot different than it used to be. My voice has gotten a lot deeper. But and I'm way out of shape. Like that's the thing about singing is it's something you can lose.
Yeah, apparently.
And when you have been in good shape before, it's quite apparent to you when you're not in great shape. So there's a lot of things that I'm just like, oh, I used to be able to do that. And it's not even range. It's like articulation and precision and things like that.
No, but, I'm exactly there. You do?
Yeah. I mean, I sing to the baby. I had he has a lullaby that I sang to him within the first 60 seconds, 2 minutes or so of him being in the world.
Oh.
And I sing it to him pretty much every night. I put him to sleep.
Speaking of lullabies sung to babies, I just remembered my mom has this song she made up that she would sing to me. It's called Icky Icky Eye Eye. It sounds about how you might think it would, but it came up into my brain and it reminded me that this week
was it about a time you got pink eye?
I don't know. I think she was just making up language
probably
to soothe me.
I was just being a smart ass.
I was talking to my mom this week because it was her birthday, and I've learned that she now is not on Facebook, but she is on Facebook enough to have been catching up on
the show.
On our show, every video I've ever made since any time. She's like, I've been watching all your Facebook videos. I'm like, yeah.
All right.
Great. Yes. What have I said?
A lot.
I have said a lot, probably. It is also, calling to mind.
Adrianne's mom.
Yeah, there were so many years there where I was free of any parents, neither of my parents on social media to watch, and that felt super cozy. I did have a sort of a frame of mind for what to say, which is both good and bad. So I've been purposely vague in any of my public spaces about the specific kinds of trauma and challenges of growing up. There's some things I've been more specific about, but I've been gesturally vague, like, horror show, like, and sometimes I probably have said, my mom is a lot of people, and she even says that kind of thing about herself. It's like, oh, check out this version of your mom today. It took 8 different pictures. I'm 8 different ladies. It's just different when I know that she's been actually watching.
This is not a thing I have to deal with because my mom is dead. I just have to deal with the ghost of her that follows me around, judging me all the time.
That is fair. That is fair. Well, my grandparents
just on social media.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I may at some point write a memoir where I'll be more specific about my like the specific traumas, but like all of the people who are in my family who have hurt me were hurt by people, and I know their stories, and I know how tragic and hard their stories are too. And I'm like really lucky for the huge amount of shit I've had to put up with and deal with and heal from. Right? That's great, but I'm purposely being vague-ish about it here because it doesn't serve just and only enough to serve the point I'm attempting to make anytime I'm talking about it. I just wanted to it occurred to me like, oh, now that I really know that she's seeing some of this stuff, revisiting the clarity in that specific kind of decision.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think more and more everybody is starting to understand that all children are traumatized by their childhood.
Yes.
And that's their parents and everyone else. Yeah. And you also, as a parent, have to get that you're going to do it too. Like I when you mentioned a memoir, I had this vision of an interesting structure for a memoir, which would be like, it's pretty dark. I don't know if I'd want to read it or write it, but imagine like a tree of trauma.
Oh God. Yeah.
So that it's like, I got fucked up by these people in this particular way, and they fucked me up that way because they were fucked up in this way. Yeah. And then I, in turn, fucked up these people because of, and it like you could trace that in a way, but it feels like it would immediately get so complicated. Like just one layer of like, I got fucked up by these, primarily by these 4 people, and then they got fucked up by all, oh my God, how many people is that?
So many people.
And then you have to go in and like discover the story of how it happened. I guess for me, one thing that's helpful is just to know that exists for everyone. I don't need to fill in all those stories, but just to know that that's how this happens. That's how we all end up this way, because we got fucked up by people who got fucked up by people who got fucked up. And it's complicated, all of the unique ways that they got fucked up and that it funneled through us. And then we pass on. Our own stuff.
And what's phenomenal is that we're actually doing better and better each time. Somehow markedly better. We're evolving slowly and healing stuff, but woof.
We stand on the shoulders of all those who have come before us.
Yeah. Speaking of lineage, one of the things I wanted to update, is so when Wynonna Earp is a show about
all right. I'm with you.
The great granddaughter of Wyatt Earp. And there's this like Earp curse. And so the Wynonna Earp is this amazing sci-fi Western supernatural kind of show where the lead character is very like Deadpool, like a lady, hot and hilarious version of Deadpool in this fun Western. The show is hilarious and beautiful and wonderful. It's really well written. There's a lot of great representation there. And they had their show was not being renewed with Sci-Fi, even though they fought to get their 4th season happening. They fought for 2 years to get that happening. Something about distribution. So they're out trying to find another streaming platform or some platform to distribute the show so they can do more shows. But in the meantime, they wrapped up their story of 4 seasons, and it's really funny and beautiful. It's a clever show. And you can tell that these people really like enjoy each other. It's like riotous television, and it came to an end, and it was so beautiful and sad and kind of wonderful. Not all shows get to know that they're ending. Kind of like
but did they do it well? That's always the thing. Is even when people know that it's coming to an end, sometimes they don't stick the landing. Yeah,
this one stuck the landing. So as a 4-season arc, it's pretty beautiful, and it's spectacularly fun TV.
There's something awesome about a storyline like that finishing and then being like, hey, this whole thing, I can recommend the whole thing and it's not going to be disappointing. Like, it's nice to be like, this is a compartmentalized. It's like a finished product in a way that there's some shows that I have that are like that, where you can just be like, go watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. That is a perfect show. Like beginning, middle, and end. Every part of it is perfect. You're going to love it. You're going to be sad when it's over, but it's there. And it's a cohesive story through the whole thing. Yeah, it's nice when that happens, because it's like you're watching The Good Place and you're like, please don't fuck this up. And then they nail it and you're like,
that is one of the most perfectly crafted shows around. Yeah.
It's a nice thing when that happens to a show you love, where they finish it well.
Totally. Last thing I wanted,
Creature, and I was not particularly happy with the ending.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was fine, but it was like, well, I guess of all the places you could have taken it, that one was okay, but too much punchy, not enough philosophy. Like it raised a bunch of really cool, interesting questions and then didn't really answer them in satisfying ways.
Ugh.
For me.
That's too bad.
There's a lot about it that I like.
Yeah.
I got a lot of shows to can you want to rapid fire with a few?
Sure. Go ahead.
So we haven't finished it because it's not finished yet, but there's an animated show. We've been on an animation kick. We watched an animated show called Invincible. That is fair warning, really, really, really dark. It's animated. It's based on a comic book, really famous.
Okay.
And the first episode is like it's almost Captain America. No, not Captain America, Captain Planet, goody two shoes, polished. It's like, and it's very clearly like a Justice League. There's a Superman character and an Aquaman character and a Flash character. And it's like, okay, all right, I'm following this. And then at some point in it, you're kind of like, is this it? Like, I've seen this. This is not different than anything. Right. And then near the end, it takes a turn. And from that point on, you are asking the question, what the hell is going on in the rest of the show all the way through? We haven't finished it. It's quite dark.
Ooh, okay.
I've been enjoying it. Still watching Eureka with my wife.
Nice.
Still ridiculous and stupid, and we love it.
Yeah.
What did we finish? Something? We finished What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh yeah, that's on my list. I haven't seen it yet.
Really funny. Not particularly profound or deep, but I don't know. I find humor to be transformative all by itself. So funny. The way there's some of those episodes that just killed me. Especially the second season. The second season gets even better. Then the thing we've been watching, two things. The one you and I want to talk about, but then the other one that I'll get out of the way is another animated thing. I finally suggested that we start introducing Faye to anime. I'm not a big anime guy. I only know a few handful of shows, but I've always wanted to get more into it. So I think we're going to kind of go on that journey ourselves. But there's a few that I know of that I really like. One of them is called Death Note. And they made a Netflix live action adaptation. It was awful and embarrassing and terrible. And the show itself is really weird. There's something about watching foreign shows, particularly Japan, where when you watch stuff that's like pushing the envelope of storytelling in another culture's model of the world, it's like, it's jarring and it's almost like traveling. It's almost like getting to go, like the sensibilities and the insecurities and the fears and the shames and the judgments and the aspirations of other people of another culture are different. They don't necessarily prioritize the same thing or worry about the same thing or want the same thing. And it feels extra psychedelic to watch stuff from another culture. And then when you're watching something where, like, one of the things about anime is in a similar vein to comic books, there seems to have always been less interference from people around the vision of the storyteller. That like with a comic book, it's usually an artist and a writer, and that is it. And then they're just so comics have always gotten to push the envelope of storytelling in a lot of ways. And with anime, I think there's a similar freedom where there's storylines and story experiments in story structure that are very different. Anyway, I don't know if Death Note is good or not, but I love it. All that to be said, it's super weird kind of Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty in Japan, but with supernatural gods of death involved too. And then it's this like battle of wits. The whole show is just a battle of wits with this really elaborate set of rules around this supernatural Death Note, which you find out in the first episode is basically a book where if you write someone's name in it, they'll die.
Oh.
And then some guy gets it and decides that he wants to cleanse the world. Yeah. And he's a genius. And so then Sherlock Holmes, quote unquote, not Sherlock Holmes, comes out to like figure out who he is. And it's really fascinating.
Right on. What I love is it was reminding me of something that was a complaint I had for like half a minute during one of the movies I just watched. I finally watched Star Trek, because both are not.
Which one?
The 2009.
Oh, the Star Trek 1.
Yeah. So because both of those are not vitally important in my cellular DNA, I mix them up a lot when I try to say them out loud. Yeah. Sorry. So you're talking about. Well, yeah, it's fair because those are incredibly important to a lot of people.
No, but those Star Trek movies are not.
Fair. So it's the top of the movie, and there's this scene where the kid who ends up being Kirk is just like driving like a bat out of hell, and then like throws an expensive, beautiful fucking car over a cliff. Mm-hmm. And I swear to you, I just paused the movie, and I'm like, when are we gonna stop telling the story of these like traumatized little fucker boys who never grow up? This is what I said. And when you were talking about these different structures of culture, these different ambitions, different values, I'm like, can we get a new story, please? Mm-hmm. And it ended up making sense later in the movie. I just let myself be grumpy about it and then recognize that there's a reason why that's the Kirk we get. You know, it ends up being useful to the story at some point in this movie, but boy, would I love more movies that are written from the perspective of different cultures and different priorities and different characters that we can just get in resonance with. I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, and I'm not even, to me, there's partly, yes, we're telling the same freaking story over and over and over, and there's not much variety in protagonist or cult or background or structure. I mean, like, how many characters have to be orphans? Like, as an example,
right?
On the other hand, there's also just clunky ass storytelling. In other words, if you're gonna tell me a story about the same broken little boy, do it in a way that isn't about a shot that you want to get in the movie, which is like, wouldn't it be fucking cool if like he was driving a classic car? Why is he driving a classic? I don't know. He stole it or something.
It's and the then future, like, or whatever.
That when you can tell when a part of a movie is shoehorned in there because they wanted to have a cool scene. Instead, it's the it's motivated by the story, you know?
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to new stories, challenging to experience new story arcs and perspectives of people that we're not used to. Like, oh, this is why they want a thing, and they have this in the past. Like, show us some new stuff.
Yeah. Well, I honestly, like, from what I hear, anime.
Okay.
Because, and I'm gonna start going through some of the classics, and I'll definitely keep you apprised. But there's a lot more experimentation when there's a smaller team involved in creating this thing. And also, I think there's just a rebellious streak in Japanese animation that is like, I don't know. It's such a weird phenomena that there's this adult I mean, I love it. I love it. And the art, like talk about every frame a painting, you know, that expression, like it literally is true. And some of the art, when you start watching anime, you see how much of the Matrix, like scene by scene, the soundtrack, all of the stuff that people were like, oh my God, the Matrix is so mind blowing. It's just the last 10 years of anime distilled into a live action movie. Don't get me wrong. They did. That's a huge feat. And to do it and pull it off and make it go well, that's still a genius thing. But the first time, a lot of the stuff that people saw in the Matrix and was like, that's so cool. The first time that was done was anime in the last 10 to 20 years or so before the Matrix. Yeah. Anyway, so
you want to talk about it?
I've been watching that, and so I've been dreaming in Japanese. like we were talking about never watch anime with voiceover, with dubs, always with subtitles.
Okay.
It's hilariously bad sometimes. But I was listening to. Can we go on a tangent here for just a second?
Okay, yeah.
So, so there was a time when in American cinema, people talked in a way that no human beings have ever actually talked.
Yeah.
They, like the transatlantic, well, hello there, let's go. Right?
Mighty fine day. I'm really glad to be here.
Nobody ever actually talked that way unless they were trained to talk that way. Yeah. And it was like broadcast announcers and things. So I wonder if in a certain drama in Japanese cinema that there is this holdover from like kabuki, where it's kind of like way over the top.
Yeah.
Because there are like the main characters are often very naturalistic in the way that they talk, and they sound like this, and they talk, I mean, in Japanese, but they're talking at a normal tone of voice, and they might get angry like this. But then there are these background characters who everything they say is like, and I know I'm doing it terrible. There's just a guttural, like, are you about to poop all the time? Like, what is that? How some people actually talk, or is that a holdover from a way of dramatizing? Because like Shakespeare,
makes sense.
The way people used to do Shakespeare it was to be or not to be. Like nobody talks that way. And then there was a time when it became conversational.
Yep.
And I know that's not a universal in Japanese cinema either, that there's a lot of very naturalistic drama that's done there, but there's some of it where it's ramped up in a very particular way.
Yeah.
That I keep hearing in my dreams. That's why I got onto this. that guy is like, oh, in my dreams.
Shit. I'm now thinking of that 3D theater skit from, I don't know if it was Saturday Night Live or if it was the Canadian SCTV or whatever, but the one where the 3D theater where they're like they put the fish, they're at the restaurant and they're like throwing the fish in the front. I don't remember.
I don't think I've seen it.
I think James Belushi is there. He's like a samurai chef in a 3D
theater.
That's
SNL. That's SNL.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We locally here have Buto performers. That's another form of Japanese. I think it's a clowning art form. I might not be right about that, but it is a physical silent. So
yeah.
Mimery, is that a word?
Mimery.
Oh.
Yeah, I am not like well versed in any of this. I'm completely ignorant when it comes to most things about theater and culture and background. So I'm completely speaking out of my ass here.
So we're getting SCTV. SCTV did the 3D. I'm combining two different things.
Yeah, because I don't think Belushi was ever on. Yeah,
he did do a samurai chef thing. Someone did a samurai chef thing.
That might be that. That sounds right to me too. I don't know.
They might be separate things that I'm squooshing together because of the years passing. Okay. Groovy. Thanks for helping out. We've got Heather here saying wonderful things, like that she loves stories that we've told. And John Candy was in the 3D theater.
Oh, okay. That sounds Canada. Yeah.
It's very Canada. Speaking of Canada, has nothing to do with Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Jesus.
Well, the better transition.
Wait.
Speaking of Canada, I now have a bunch of Canadian followers from TikTok because my TikTok video went crazy viral. And it's
no, the other one was way
55,000.
better. Speaking of Canada, has nothing to do with this. That's my
true.
favorite transition ever.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on your TikTok, though.
Yeah, it's crazy good. It's fun. New friends. I don't entirely know what to do with them, but I love them already.
Okay.
And I'm just going to keep pointing the camera and doing stuff. 55K. Can you imagine 55,000 humans all at once paying attention to like 60 seconds of a human talking? Like they're not all at once, but like my roommate was like, imagine them in an audience, like a giant theater. And I'm like, yes, please.
5,000 people in a stadium.
I would fucking love that. Yes, please. Let's do it. Let's do it tomorrow. Everybody's masked and whatever is needed for that to happen. Maybe that's tomorrow.
So we were going to talk about a show.
Oh, right. Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Crap, is it almost 4?
Yeah. We're good at this. We're doing great.
Yep. So
are we going to do the version? Because it's still running, right? Are we going to do the version where we don't spoil stuff?
I could probably do that. I think I could talk quite a bit about this and keeping it relatively vague. And then you want to do like a spoiler episode after this thing?
Yeah.
Because if I do spoiler free, it's going to be shorter. Like, I'm not talk about as much specifically.
Yeah, no, there's important things to get specific about. I think we should wait till like it's everyone, they've all aired and had a chance.
So you want me to go first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, I'll start by saying I
synopsize. Remember
what?
Synopsize, like get us in there.
Yeah. Well, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the next Marvel TV show to come out after WandaVision, which blew me away. Honestly, like WandaVision, I was like, I don't know, this could be interesting. And then it was not only interesting, it was about something. And when I heard the pitch for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they said it's basically going to be like, if you like Captain America, Winter Soldier, which is one of my favorite Marvel movies, they're like, it's going to be a spy thriller, basically, with superheroes in it. And and if you like that, that's what this is going to be. It's going to have a little bit of a buddy cop kind of thing going on too. And I'm like, oh, that sounds great. And it sounds light and it sounds fluffy and it sounds like fun action, like classic Marvel. I do not know if I was out of the loop because I'm not super up on news and things like that ahead of time or like following every tidbit, but I didn't hear anything about them saying this is also going to be about something and
highly relevant to our now times.
No one warned. I can't believe we paused the episode, the last couple episodes. We paused them like 3 or 4 times in the middle to just stop and go, I cannot believe how many fucking people are watching this right now and hearing this. This is it's like, I keep thinking about Anthony Mackie being like, you got hired to play the Falcon in the Marvel movies. And he was probably like, cool, paycheck. It's fun. Like, this is going to be awesome. And I get to be the, kind of plucky minor character. And then imagine having this script handed over to you and being like, really? Like, I get to do this role and take on this, like, this is the thing. I'm going to put it this way. I love the minutia. I love the day-to-day stuff. I love seeing these heroic characters, heroes, people who are supposed to be real characters that have character. They're heroic characters. Oh boy, that was like 5 times character.
I get all the characters. Get it.
And you get to see them handling like real life complicated issues. This is gray. It's messy. There are no clear good guys and bad guys. You're sympathetic with everybody. And like fundamentally, I want to know what a character like the Falcon thinks about racism. That is interesting to me as a placeholder for the experience of people in the world, and then to get to comment on this stuff with such nuance.
Yep.
Like it's complicated. The story is dark and complicated, and it's uncomfortable. I'm blown away. I'm so happy to see a company like Marvel going, we could just keep doing the same shit, but we have the biggest platform on the planet right now, and we're gonna actually use it for something. That is astonishing. And like, I'm not saying it's changing the whole world, or but from a reach perspective, it is. It's bigger than a Spike Lee movie or something that has something important to say. But how many people see it? Like, I'm not saying how many people should see it. I'm saying how many people do see it. And if you look at this, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, more people are watching that show than any other show on right now.
Fair. You know who else is jumping into this race and current event and killing it? Grey's Anatomy, Station 19.
Really?
This Is Us. All this year have been dropping us deep into the reality
and handling it well.
Handling it well. Beautiful scripts, beautiful character engagement around these really challenging topics. It's like no holds barred there. They're just taking us and making it beautiful and poignant. And that's, I don't know if I've ever been in a place where like current television was becoming a part of and recreate like molding current events as well as reflecting current events. I don't think I've ever been we could pretend that maybe cop shows sort of do that, and sometimes the medical shows do like
I think some comedy stuff does that. Comedy stuff rolls into influence and being influenced. Like, you know, South Park would famously makes an episode every 7 days, so they can comment on exactly what's happening. But the thing about this show is it was made like 2 years ago. Like, this show was prescient on these things, and I'm trying not to reveal too much more. But what I really appreciate, and that's why I said, are they handling it well? Is I think people are really, really fucking tired of being placated.
Yes.
They're tired of being talked down to, and they're tired of stupid, overly simplistic answers and even questions. That's what I'm so impressed with in this show, is that it is really making you think, and it's putting you in the shoes of a character that is being confronted with something and then still trying not to become bitter.
Heck yeah.
And like, I love that. I love that as the question that we're asking here. So I don't know how they're going to land. There's one episode left. They got a lot to tie up in one more episode.
Wait, what?
Pretty sure there's only one more.
How many total?
I think there were 6.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea that it was only 6. I was just like, oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome.
So the next episode is the climax of all this. It might be longer. I heard that potential rumor that it may be like 90-minute or something. But wow. I will just say, I am like, Marvel is nailing it. I can't believe they like Trojan horse this one, because you would have thought that they would have been letting people know ahead of time this is what's happening, but it's so much smarter for me anyway, to discover no way. They're bringing in like the plot line about the other super soldier, let's just say. That is from a comic book series called Captain America Truth. And it was a big deal when the comics did that, to kind of rake Captain America's history and name a little through the mud, so to speak. That was a risky move, but Marvel was like, they asked the writer to do something interesting with the Captain America story, and he came up with this idea, and it was awesome and poignant and bold. And then for Marvel Studios, Disney, to be like, yeah, let's do that one. It's just, I'm like, hats off.
Yeah, it's beautiful. One of my favorite things, just on the playful side and not thematically deep, as the first couple episodes are going, I start giggling on my couch because I'm like, they took the grumpiest, like most taking themselves seriously characters, and then just were like, let's just squish them together and force them on a caper. Because it just like
It's
Sam,
so smart.
he's not like plucky. He is not a plucky guy.
No,
He's a trauma. He helps veterans with their trauma. He's like a coach trauma. He's not a therapist, but and then Bucky's got his issues. Does he talk out loud? I don't know. I don't recall before this that he talked out loud.
Right,
Sharon's take herself pretty seriously. She's in this. Good times. We've seen that from the trailers. Then you've got like the Wakanda soldiers.
Yeah,
they're in this. So you've got the sternest, grumpiest humans having to like what?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good. It's like, what if we force them in a van together?
And then the way that they play the humor off feels so real. I don't want to drop any specific scenes, but there was one scene in the first or second episode that I was laughing so hard because of just this pair up. Mm-hmm. It's like hilarious. Yeah. So next week, after the last episode, let's do a spoiler episode and let's go like favorite scenes, favorite sequences, favorite concepts. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go back and I'll take my notes.
Because this was only like 10 minutes. Unfortunately, I do have to run.
Totally.
Okay.
All right. That's our show.
Hey, we did it.
We did it. Thanks for being here.
Rock on. I'll see you next week. Easy deeply, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.